Good morning, everyone. Denise is here. We're just waiting for everyone to join. It's a little early. Nice to see the early birds.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lillian, my friend. How are you?
I'm fine, and you? How is
Oh,
everything?
fantastic on this beautiful weather day.
Yeah, no complaints. Yeah.
Talk to you soon. I'll be in the background if you need me.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Good morning, Mr. Garver. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How you guys doing today?
I'm doing well.
Awesome.
Hey, Lauren, it's nice to see you again.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
We're just giving everybody a chance to get on. It's a few minutes early.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
Thank you, Michael.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning. So as you can see, I'm actually driving. Is Denise D'Amato on?
Yes.
Denise is on.
Hi, Denise. All
Hi.
right. Marnelli, are you on as well?
Yes, Donna.
John, I'll give you a call.
All right. So please stay on and help Denise. And when you need to mute people, please just stay on top of that as well. We have a presentation. You need to make the person who's going to present today a co-host. Okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome.
Okay. Is that my cue,
So
Adoma?
Yep. And
So we'll wait a few minutes, Denise, just to get
Awesome.
everybody on, and then you can make
Agreed.
the introduction. We have about 19 people, but we should get more, so maybe wait another minute or two. Just so you guys know, I am going to be at a meeting, but this is being recorded. It's going to be a great session, so please stay on. Have your phones ready. And hopefully you guys will learn more about the app today. And if you already have the app, you'll probably be able to utilize it even more. So Denise, I'm going to turn it over to you, and good luck.
Fantastic. Adona, have a great day. We'll give them just a few,
Thanks.
we'll give them one more minute and then we'll do our intros. Okay. Everybody ready to begin? Fantastic. So I'd like to introduce this morning Michael Pyburn. Michael is the Director of Research and Development. So we're very fortunate to have him with us this morning. And he's going to be going over the LandQuest title Palm Agent 1. And that is going to go and give you the opportunity to better understand the closing cost calculator that's available to you. He's going to cover things such as like the seller net sheets, the buyer estimates, the rent versus buyer scenarios, buyer comparisons, and addition marketing that's also available to you. I'm gonna turn it over to him. He's gonna walk you through, he's gonna give you guidance step by step, and I'm sure some Michael questions at the end.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
Okay, thank you. So again, this is your LandQuest title Palm Agent 1. And don't worry if you didn't have a chance to download, because this session, as Adona mentioned, is videoed. It's going to be available for you to replay. So you'll be able to go step by step and get yourself familiar and download afterwards. Michael, it's all yours.
Awesome. Well, good morning. Excited to have the opportunity to go over the LandQuest Agent app with you guys. I'm Mike with Palm Agent, and we partner with title operations to preload this amazing software with fees and taxes and such to really make it relevant to you and your business in your area. This download site that I've got on the screen, for those of you who don't have the app, you can go to landquestagent.com and download it. If you already have the app, of course, it's going to be that Palm Agent 1 app. LandQuest is one of our partners within our app. So if you don't go to that website that I was mentioning before and you just went to the App Store, you'd have to search Palm Agent and then go through their registration process and then choose LandQuest as your title partner there. You know, I like to boil the app down to 3 bullet points on what it offers you guys, just to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about today. So first, this thing's going to help you create great looking branded reports in under 30 seconds. So whether it's a net sheet when you're meeting with a seller, or a buyer estimate when you're out there house shopping with those buyers, being able to create a great looking branded report in under a minute, there's a lot of value in that. And so that's bullet point one on what this app offers you. The second thing that this app offers you is that we've loaded it with 24 different calculators designed to help you guys frame the conversations around realistic scenarios. So all those situations you find yourself in, maybe you're working with a lowball buyer trying to get them to make a more competitive offer, or an unrealistic seller you're trying to bring down to a more realistic listing price. Maybe you've got a buyer who heard that the Fed's going to cut the rates again, and so they're going to wait. They're not going to buy now. They're going to buy later. All those different conversations, we've got 24 different calculators to help you guys look like rock stars in those conversations. The third bullet point on what this app offers you is the social media aspect. There's a massive social media content library, thousands of pieces of really innovative content designed to help you get more exposure for your brand on social media. So that's what the app's all about. That's what we'll be talking about today. Again, if you haven't downloaded, make sure you go to landquestagent.com and download that. As you can see, going to this website on a mobile device, there's going to be a Get the App button. But you can also visit this website on a larger device like your laptop or desktop, and you can access all the cool tools that we talk about today on a larger device. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention, but let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at what this app will do for us. So we open it up, and by default, it's going to open up to the buyer tab. I want to bring your attention down there to the bottom. That's our navigation bar. That's how we get throughout the app. So the buyer tab, of course, for generating estimates when you're out there house shopping, the seller tab for creating a great looking net sheet for your listing appointments. The calculators tab, of course, houses all those additional calculators. I'll touch on as many of those as time permits. And then there's the premium tab. So the premium tab is where you'll find all that social media content. Again, it's a massive social media content library, thousands of pieces, really innovative content in there. That portion of the app does cost. It's 99 cents a month or $10 for the year. Denise and the rest of her team are providing you the buyer, seller, and all the calculators for free. But if you want to access that social media content library, again, 99 cents a month, $10 for the year. Definitely a lot of value in there, and we'll talk about all those bells and whistles. But first, I want to get you guys excited about what the LandQuest team is providing to you for free. And so we'll talk about the first three tabs and show you some of the stuff that you're getting for free from the team there, LandQuest, and then we'll talk about premium and what you get for that subscription. So I'll start this off by talking about this buyer tab that we're already on. This is a great tool when you're out there house shopping with your buyers, and it's of course not meant to replace the lender. Buyers still got to be pre-approved. All the final numbers go through the lender, but a lender pre-approves that buyer for, let's say, 5.25, and then you take them house shopping. And you're looking at 3 different houses, 3 different price points. That lender's not hopping in the back seat, touring those different properties with you, telling you this one's going to be this much a month and this one's going to be this much a month. You got to bring this much to close on this one and this much to close on this one. And so you guys being able to have those conversations on your own when you're out there exploring these homes with these buyers, you're providing a better experience to your clients. And that's why Denise and the rest of the team there at LandQuest, they want to provide this tool to you. They really want you guys to be the experts with your clients and really help you provide a better experience to those clients. A better experience than saying, oh, I don't know how that changes your monthly payment. Let me text the lender. He didn't respond yet. He's really quick. He'll be texting back any second, but we got to wait for that text back. Rather than providing that type of experience, they want you to be able to say, hey, we'll need to get with the lender for the final numbers, but this first one's going to be about this much a month. On that second one, you're going to have to bring about this much to close on it. They want to provide you a tool preloaded with their fees so you can really be an expert when you're out there having conversations with your clients. Now, we know if this thing's not simple, you're not going to want to use it. And so on my buyer input screen, thanks to all these defaults here, all we really need to do is plug in a home price up there at the top. I'll do a 5.25 price point. I plug that in, and you'll see that now that compute button is now blue. That's all it takes for us to run a scenario here. But I know you guys on the call today, you're VIPs of Denise's there. And so I want to make sure you guys are trained up nicely and know how to use some of the additional features here. And so first I'll mention that loan type. That drop down arrow next to where it says loan type, you can switch to a variety of different loan types, all of course with the corresponding fees built in. Now I'll jump down to a new input field. We added this about 3 weeks ago in an update. So if you haven't updated your app and you've been using the app longer than that, you'll definitely want to go to the App Store and update your app. This buyer broker fee input field has been added to the input screen here. As you guys know, the NAR settlement changes. If that buyer has to pay that buyer agent compensation themselves, we need to add that to the buyer estimate. And so you can choose who's paying it on the far right side, and the drop down arrow next to where it says the label, you can actually change what that fee is called. You can call it buyer agent compensation, buyer broker fee. You can name it whatever you want. All right, then the last input field that I'll mention on this input screen, because the rest is pretty self-explanatory, but taxes. I want to show you guys how taxes are handled in the app. There's a couple different ways, and so I want to show you those. So first, a rate is loaded in here. You can see I've got that 2.51. That is going to be based on the area that you select when you register. At the top of the screen, you can see that I'm associated with Essex County. Well, I can hit that drop down arrow and I can change to a different county with this drop down arrow on the Essex field here. So I can change to a different area, but I'm associated with Essex. I've got that Essex rate loaded in there. And if I hit this drop down arrow, there's going to be some other rates that can be edited here. Some of the counties might have more, but different rates for the Essex area. So I can use a rough rate, but better way to handle taxes, if you've got that property profile and know how much was spent in taxes, you can plug that in. We're going to recognize anything above 100 as a dollar amount for you automatically. I type in 7,200, boom, it recognizes that as a dollar amount. But the best way, in my opinion, to handle those taxes, you guys, is using the add address in that top left corner. It's a feature we call Home Link, and forgive me, I'll be using a Texas address, but when you plug in that address, it's going to pull from county records that tax information automatically for us. It's going to give us an assessed value, a year, and a tax amount. Just like that, we press done, it loads that tax amount in for us. So nice, simple way to handle those taxes is just add an address in that top left corner. All right, now, again, the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. Changing the down payment, interest rate, we update that for you guys regularly, but you can change that, all that good stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and hit that compute button. When I press that compute button down there at the bottom, all right, so this is a safeguard I wanted to trigger to show it to you guys. It's not something you'll see every single time. It's happening because I plugged in an address in Texas, so the tax record, it differs from you guys' taxes. Basically, what's happening here is the app is saying, hey, last year's record was 6,900, but maybe they qualified for homestead exemption, or other exemptions. It was a lower price pointed home. It's a $400,000 home that you were pulling taxes on, but it's a 5.25 price point that you've plugged in. Well, if we use that price point, 5.25, with the tax rate that we have for Essex County, taxes this year would be more like 13,000. So do you want to use last year's tax record, or do you want to use our estimation for this year's taxes? So we'll give you this nice safeguard here. If there's a big enough discrepancy between those two numbers, for the sake of time, I'll use the tax record and I'll press done. And boom, just like that, I'm able to tell the buyer the two numbers they really care about most. What am I going to be spending monthly? And what do I need to bring to that closing table? And of course, breakdowns listed below. Now, one thing that makes this such an amazing tool for you guys is that we've worked closely with Denise and her team to preload this with the closing costs that you typically need. So when you're telling that buyer they got to bring $83,600 to close on that home, you're getting extremely close. Now, if you want to take a look at the closing costs that are being included, you can press that blue detailed closing cost button. You'll see all of those closing costs line itemed and in different categories here. We even have the ability to dial the numbers in because, again, this is preloaded for you, so you're getting close with your estimations. But as you guys know, every transaction is different. And so if I need to, toggle that policy to be paid by the other party or what have you, I can press that edit button in the top right corner. And then you'll see I can change that enhanced policy to be paid by the seller or to be split. I can change from the enhanced policy. I could switch to the standard policy with that drop-down arrow. I could go in and remove line items, add new ones, adjust the numbers that are already here. I can really dial this in for my business. So let's just say that the lender that I use, we've got an $850 origination fee in there, but maybe the lender that I use, he charges $700. I could actually go in there, change that. In fact, if you do anything below 100, it's going to recognize as a percentage for you. But now I've made a change to that origination fee. To save it, I would press done in that top right corner, and the app's actually going to give me two options for saving. Do you want to save for just this estimate or for all future estimates? Are you dialing the numbers in for just this transaction, or are you editing your defaults? Do you need a brokerage fee that your brokerage charges for every transaction you do? Do you need to add that and have it on all the estimates you run moving forward? So we do give you those two options for saving here. Now I'll choose for this estimate only, and I'm going to press the back button in the top left corner, and then I'm going to bring us back to our results screen. Now, there's a lot of cool stuff that we build into the result screens, and we'll take a look at that in just a bit. But first, the most important part, you guys, getting this information to my client in a nice, neat format. Well, if I press that share icon in the top right corner, the box with the arrow coming out of it, the first option in that list is going to be send full report. Well, when we press that send full report button, the app's going to generate a great looking report for us. It's going to have all the loan information on the first page, closing costs itemized out on the second page. At the end of the day, it's just an estimate. It's not an actual CD. So we do have estimate verbiage built into a disclaimer that's populated on both pages. You'll also notice the branding down there at the bottom. I can have a slogan, my contact information, license numbers, all of that. That's all be able to be added to your account in the free version. For the photo and logo, you'll have to be a premium subscriber due to a compliance co-branding gray area. But I promise you, once I show you how much value you get for that 99 cents, adding your photo and logo to your account is really just the icing on the cake. Now, the report already looks great. Great report for me to send over to my client and talk about all the costs involved in this purchase. But we do have some options. Down there in the bottom left, there's a templates button. You'll find 7 different report styles, all included for free for you guys. Some have added functionality like color options and a cover photo, so you can choose a style that you think works best for your client. In the bottom right corner, you'll find a customized menu where you'll see a language option with 14 different languages, color options, the edit profile option, property details. If I want to go in and add maybe a video link or property photos of the listing. We even give you footer options, that branded footer down there at the bottom. There's 10 different designs for you to choose from to get some different branding on that footer. So, that's the heart of the tool, you guys. That first bullet point I mentioned earlier, blank input screen to great looking report in 30 seconds. That's the heart of the tool. And that alone is going to be a lot of value for you when you're out here meeting with your clients. But the app is so much more than just that. Let me press this back button in the top left corner and bring us back to our results screen. And I want to show you guys some of the functionality that we build into the results screens to help you when you're face-to-face with that buyer. We really want to help you be a rock star in that conversation. So we build our results screens in a way that really help you guide that conversation and be the pro. First example of what we build into the result screens is what's accessed when you shake the device at the result screen. So I'm sitting here on my buyer result screen. I hold my device in front of me and I shake it back and forth. It creates this screen here that shows me how that monthly payment changes as we make a more competitive offer or we offer a little bit below ask. So imagine having that conversation about inventory and, hey, it's real tight in this area. This is a beautiful house, a very popular neighborhood. There's going to be other offers made on it. I think we need to let those sellers know we're serious and come in strong. I know it's listed for 5.25, but if we submit that 535 and let those sellers know we're serious, we got a better chance at winning this home. And it's only going to change your monthly payment by like $60. That's a much more effective way for you guys to go about that conversation. 10,000 over might seem overwhelming to that buyer. $60 isn't going to break the bank. That's a much more digestible number for them to look at. So definitely a cool way to handle that conversation and show how making that competitive offer that'll actually secure that home, it's not going to affect your monthly payment that much. And of course, this comes with its own result screen down there in the bottom right corner. You can press that. There's a printout that you'll get that you can print off or text over to that client. And again, this is a feature available throughout your app on all the different calculators when you shake the device at the result screen. All right, I'm going to X out of that. The next thing that we do with our result screens throughout the app that I want to share with you guys is we make them editable. We want you to be able to maneuver that conversation like a pro, and it's not always black and white. maybe my buyer says something to me like, you know what, 4,000 a month, that's just a little bit too high. I've only budgeted to spend 3,800 a month. What do I got to do to get my monthly payment down to 3,800? Now, again, normally you guys know how the story goes. You're like, oh, I don't know. Here, let me text the lender. But instead, you're able to answer them right then and there. There's an editable aspect to your result screen here. There's an edit button below the monthly payment and bring to close. So I can press that edit button, change that to 3,800, and when I hit done, it's going to recalculate for me. So without skipping a beat, I can say, hey, not a problem. Let's get that down payment up to about 15%. If you can bring about 109 to the closing table, that's going to get the monthly payment down to the number you're looking for. So you're able to really ace this conversation with that buyer and adjust the results based on how that conversation's going. All right, the next thing I want to draw your attention to is the blue bar at the top of the screen. That's going to show additional screens that you can swipe over to. So on the left side, we've got a smart compare tool. It's a loan comparison tool, automatically creates comparable loans for you. We already talked about 15% down. If you put 20% down, you're going to save about 40 grand. And here's a 15-year scenario as well. So it created those two alternate loans for me. I can always press edit in the top left corner and adjust those, but the app's going to create a comparison for me here. So that's on the left side. If I swipe over to the other side, you can see up there the blue bar, it says loan details. If I swipe over there, I've got all the loan details up top, and then at the bottom, we run a complete amortization schedule for every scenario you will run through that buyer's program. So if I'm working with a nurse who's considering a 5-year residency and should she rent, should she buy, if she were to buy, what would her payoff be after year 5? I've got all that information readily available with an amortization schedule here. All right, so all of that, you guys, is being provided to you by Denise and her team for free. Everything that we've looked at in this first calculator, aside from adding your photo and logo to your account, and again, we've got 24 different calculators built to that same effect. So, definitely show Denise and her team some appreciation when you get the chance. It's all about helping you with your business, and they see a lot of value in providing this tool to you for free. So you're getting a lot of value in free. But I want to show you some of the stuff that comes with that premium subscription. And we do have one last printout here on the buyer's side that does require subscription of premium. So let's take a look at that real quick. It's called a geo report. If I press that share icon in the top right corner, the second option in our list here is send geo report. Well, when I press that, the app's going to generate an estimate for me again. However, this time it's going to use that address that I plugged in earlier, and it's going to pull me some geo-specific data. Data like, how close is that grocery store or Starbucks to this address? What are the schools nearby, and how are they rated according to niche? Restaurants within a 5-mile radius from Yelp, internet speeds and providers available to that address. And maybe I want to show off how quiet the neighborhood is with a sound score. Imagine having this at your next open house. Instead of having a sign-in sheet and, hoping that they put their real email, you're running this for those people that show up to that open house, and you're able to say, hey, let me text this to you. What's your number? That's a better way to get their contact information and provide an item of value. And this is the type of report that these potential home buyers really care about. This is letting them know about the community and the neighborhood, things that actually are going to affect their life. And, in the bottom left corner, there's a templates button. There's a variety of different styles available to you. You can choose different styles. And of course, with all the data we let you show, we want you to have control over that. And so the customize button in the bottom right corner, if you go to property details, you can actually choose what you're showing. I don't want to show the nearest gas station or hospital. I want to put the nearest dog park because they brought their dogs to the open house. The husband kept raving about the golf that he plays all the time. I want to put the nearest golf course on there. So you can really tailor this to resonate with a specific buyer or have it really talk up that listing you're trying to market. All right, so that is the first calculator and many more to come. I do want to take a second to see if there's any questions. Also, Denise, what are your thoughts so far? Because I know this is one of the first times I'm going through a lot of this with you as well, in an in-depth way like this, at least.
So I think it's awesome. And I love that listen, everybody always has their phones in hands. So It seems like everybody will have to practice. My opinion, I think some people will have to practice in advance, but I think with a little bit of practice, there's a tremendous amount of knowledge right at fingertips, and everything can be customized for the individual buyer or even seller. And I think it's a tremendous asset. The one thing that I was fascinated about, and I don't know if anyone else would like you to go back over it, was that shake feature. I didn't know if you could go to a screen and just go through that shake feature again, unless everybody else is comfortable with it, because that seemed to really be something I've not seen before.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, so when you're on your results screen, so we're looking at our buy result screen with the two numbers here. All you have to do is shake your device. Just shake it back and forth, and it's going to create that screen. And this, again, just like Denise said, this is such a powerful piece for you to use on that buyer. You know, being able to show different increments here and making that competitive offer that's actually going to get considered by those sellers. It's not going to change your monthly payment that much. So really cool feature here. I'm so glad that you brought that one up specifically. I do notice that Mark asked about PITI. What does it stand for? So the way we do our payments, we do principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So all inclusive. Instead of just a principal and interest payment, we do all inclusive principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Great question, because I'll mention that later when I talk about a different calculator where we talk about that desired monthly payment, a PITI payment. It's an all-inclusive principal, interest, tax, and insurance. All right, I do have
There's-
I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I just noticed that Audrey is mentioned that she's having some challenges, and the app is telling her she needs to reach out to someone by the name of Jim, that it's not giving her access. I'm unable to follow on my app, as it says I need to send a message to someone named Jim. I'm wondering if you can give Audrey some guidance.
Yeah,
I'm-
so
and-
you're
And I'm going to
Yeah.
interrupt you just for one other second. I apologize. Don't mean to seem rude. My other concern is for those who might not be using their phone for this or a tablet, but are on a laptop or a stationary computer, what's the alternative to shaking to get to that next screen?
Absolutely. So there's going to be a little icon on your desktop version that looks like a phone rotating. You can also see it on my iPad here. That is because on an iPhone or a phone, a mobile device, you could rotate it or you can shake it. But on an iPad, if you rotate it, it's going to throw it in landscape mode. And so you only have the option to shake it. And so the other way to trigger it on an iPad is this button up here in the top right that looks like a phone rotating. And that is what you'll see on the desktop version, is a little icon that shows a phone rotating. Another question I see that came out, how much does the app cost monthly? Again, most of the app, the first three tabs, buyer, seller, and calculators, being provided to you guys by the LandQuest team for free. But then, yes, to harp on what the next comment was after that, for the premium section, for that social media content and that geo report that I showed you, and the ability to add your photo and logo to your account, you can subscribe to premium and get all those additional features. So Lillian asked about enhanced policy versus standard policy. Those are the two title policy options that the LandQuest team offers you guys. And so depending on which one that homeowner wants to go through. And of course, you can talk with Denise about those two different policies and what they entail. To circle back to the question that Denise brought up that Audrey was asking. So because it's loaded with the title operations fees and such, you do have to be periodically renewed by your rep. So that, Audrey, looks like the message that you get when you need to be renewed. The way, for the time being, that I'd recommend handling that is reach out to our support team, support@palmagent.com. Ask them if you can be switched to Denise, and that Denise wants to go ahead and renew you, and our support team will handle all that for you so that we can get you in the app right now. Denise, I can talk later with you about how you would renew the agents when they get reached out to, and we can see who Jim is and see if we need to move Jim's users over to All right, so it looks like Taylor just sent me an email. Go ahead and forward that email to our support team, support@palmagent.com, and they'll be able to handle that for you.
And just Audrey and Lillian, I will personally reach out after this call to both of you ladies and get you in alignment, answers and address concerns. Not a problem.
Perfect. All right, well, I got so much more I want to show you guys, so I'm going to keep the show rolling. I'm going to jump over to the seller side, and I'm going to talk about the world's fastest net sheet. And yes, I call it that with pride because we actually submitted to the Guinness Book of World Records. And, you know, we like to brag you can create an email off a great-looking net sheet in under 30 seconds. And, you know, there's probably a lot of different ways that you guys are running your net sheets, whether you're using an Excel spreadsheet that you built a couple years ago, or you know, this thing's going to blow that out of the water because you can use this wherever you are, pull out your phone and have a net sheet in under a minute. And for those of you that call Denise and her team and have them run your scenarios for your listing appointments, I'm sure that they're happy to continue doing it. Chances are they're doing it from this app, and they provide this to you guys as a backup plan. They really want to be there for you when they can't be there for you. You know, if it's a late night, a weekend, or a holiday, you're talking with a seller, they want you to have a tool that gives you the ability to answer that seller's question about how much they'll net in a moment's notice on your own. And so, you know, they're happy to continue running these net sheets for you, but they provide this tool to you because they want to arm you with a tool that lets you answer those sellers immediately. Now, again, in terms of ease of use, I'll go ahead and just show you the quick way. I'm going to add a sales price of 5.25, and I'm going to add an address in that top left corner. Now, the reason you want to use HomeLink and add an address here on the seller side, first, it's going to pull taxes for me, which is great. You know, I needed those taxes. That's homeowners taxes anyway. So when I press next, though, the other thing that HomeLink's going to do is it's going to search the system for an open loan. If we're able to see an origination date and an amount, we'll actually show you an estimated loan balance if you plug in an interest rate. If you don't know what interest rate that homeowner got, maybe you're working this net sheet up on your way to your listing appointment, we actually show you what the average interest rate was for the year that loan was originated. So let's go ahead and use that 2.9 average for 2021 and hit compute, and boom, the app's going to say, hey, estimated loan balance on that property today is about $392,000. This is a cool feature, you guys, when you need it. You know, a lot of times the seller knows how much they still owe, and you can press skip and you can manually input how much they still owe. But for those instances where you're working this up on the go and you ask them, hey, how much do you still owe? And they say, oh, I got to check with the wife. She keeps track of that. Or the paperwork's back in my house. I'll text you when I get home. If they say anything like that, you're going to look like a rock star pulling their loan balance by just adding their address. So really cool feature when you need it. I'll press use estimate. It's going to load the loan balance, the taxes, interest rate into my net sheet. And that's all I have to do, you guys, to run my net sheet is just add a sales price and add an address. Now, a few other input fields to know about. You can see that we've got a senior or disabled discount here. You can toggle that on. Also, bringing your attention up there to the broker fee. We have each side of the broker fee split. Seller broker fee, buyer broker fee, and just like on the buyer side, we can choose who's paying that buyer broker fee, and we can also go in here and change the name of the fee. I'll stick with the fee names that we have in there, but I wanted to let you guys know you can edit those fee names. Now, I'll just press compute. And again, you guys, something I'm able to do in a matter of 15 seconds, one-handed, while I'm pushing a grocery cart, and now I'm sitting here breaking this down for that potential seller like a pro. Hey, assuming the sales price of 5.25, the loan balance I pulled for you, the prorated tax credit, that's based on what time of year we're closing, and then all the closing costs, you're looking to walk about 95.6. You guys, there's no quicker or easier way for you to get to this net number than with this amazing tool that Denise and her team are providing to you. The speed, the simplicity, the portability, truly unmatched. Again, this is something you can do when you're laying on the beach on vacation and that seller texted you while you're on vacation and you still look like a rock star, texting them back a great looking report in 30 seconds. So now all the functionality I showed you on the buyer side is available here as well. So I can itemize those closing costs out and adjust as needed. I could send off a great looking report, translate it, add color, all those cool features that we looked at earlier. I could edit the results. You know, if the seller says, hey, 95 looks good, but I really need 110 for this new house I found. You could press edit, change that to 110, and it's going to recalculate what you would need to sell the house for. So that editable result screen available here as well. In regards to those additional features, again, let's shake our device while we're on the result screen. We shake it, it runs 5 net sheets at once for us. Talk about rocking that listing appointment, going in with 5 scenarios. Now I'm able to talk to that seller and say, hey, if we don't get 5 1/4, we only get 515. Would 86 grand still get you where you're trying to go? Or, hey, I know you wanted 110. If we listed at 535, that has you walking about 105. Does that get you close enough? You know, you're able to be armed with 5 different sales scenarios here and show them what they would net at those different price points. And what's really cool is you can actually click on one of these. So let's just say I want to show them that 535 net sheet. I can click on that 535 and boom, I've got a 535 net sheet here. But let's take it a step further, you guys. I don't think the house is worth 535. I still only think it's worth 5 1/4. How do I talk them back down to 5 1/4? Well, on the right side, you can see that it says holding costs. If I swipe over to that side, it's going to tally up the taxes, insurance, and interest that they're accruing over 30, 60, 90, and 120 days to show them how much that house is costing them if they price it at 535 and it sits on the market for longer than it needs to. And that's not all they'd be paying. Let me press that edit expenses button in the bottom left and say, hey, you're also paying HOA while the house is sitting there. And, you know, the utilities, keeping the lights on, it's no joke. Then there's other things like lawn care, pool maintenance, all those things you're not thinking about. Let me add those. You know, the last house was priced that high above the comps. It sat on the market for about 90 days. If yours sits on the market for that long, you'll be out about 10 grand. Then we'll sit down and have a conversation about lowering that list price to 5 1/4. That's technically you're out another 10 grand at that point. You know, rather than all that happening, it might be better for us to list it at 5 1/4 now, have it move quicker so that that 10 grand, that 15 grand isn't coming out of your pocket while the house is sitting on the market because you want to price it too high. You know, this is such a powerful way to illustrate that cost of that house sitting on the market for too long if it's priced too high. So absolutely love this. Definitely a cool feature when you need it with that unrealistic seller. So that's on the right side. The left side, a multiple offer tool. You know, I've heard that market's still crazy there in New Jersey for you guys. This bad boy will let you compile and present up to 75 different offers and include things like escalation clauses, contingencies. You can even use the star icon in the top left corner and star one of the offers. If maybe that seller's looking for the offer that had their earliest close date, you can star that and have it noted on the report. So really cool multiple offer comparison tool when you need it, built right into your seller calculator. All right, so those are the 2 main calculators. Again, creating a buyer estimate and a seller net sheet. That's the core of the app. But we also have this calculators tab with all these additional calculators. And again, we don't have time to cover all of these. But I'll show you some good ones that you can get out there and start using today. And, you know, I'll also leave you with a resource for learning how to use the calculators that we don't have time to cover. And so I still want to show you what's in that premium section too. So let's dive into a couple of these calculators. First, I'll start with some long-standing favorites. You know, these have been in the app for 15 plus years. They're very powerful calculators. They're simple for you to implement into your day-to-day business. And they're very useful because they let you approach the conversation with the buyer or seller with the one number they really care about that matters most to them. So for example, the 2 that I'm referring to, they're actually reverse calculations. So monthly affordability and sell to net. So sell to net, for example, is the reverse calculation of that net sheet. Rather than starting with the sales price, I get to run this net sheet backwards, starting with the net goal. I get to walk up to that homeowner and say, hey, I overheard you saying you're thinking about selling. What's your magic number? Like, what would you need to make on the sale for you to let me list this and sell it for you? Do you need 50? You need 60? You need 100,000? Okay, you want 100,000. I plug in the rest of this to fill it out just like I did my net sheet. I could add the address and have it pull that loan balance and tax amount for me. But when I press compute down there at the bottom, I'm going to be able to say, hey, for you to walk with 100, we're going to have to sell the house for X. You know, you're able to tell them what they need to sell the house for to get that net goal. And as you guys know, backing into a sales price, this is such an important piece of that conversation. Being able to start the conversation off with that homeowner with how much do you want to walk with? What's your magic number? It's a great way to go about that conversation with the seller. So that sell to net calculator is definitely one I want you to know about. The other one that I'll mention, and this jumps back to Mark's question earlier about the PITI, the monthly affordability calculator. Being able to ask a first-time home buying couple, hey, how much are you guys comfortable spending monthly? Or a renter, hey, how much are you renting for? Let me show you how much home you could get if that rent payment were a mortgage payment. And when they give us a monthly payment, they're not telling us, yeah, I'm comfortable spending $3,200 plus taxes and insurance. The consumer, they're thinking of PITI anyway. They're wanting to know their all-in cost, all-in monthly payment. And so that's why we do a principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. We want to show them, including all of those. So let's just say I use this on a renter. How much are you renting for? Okay, you're renting for $3,500. Let me plug that in. Let me hit this compute button. With that $3,500, if you could put 10% down, that $3,500 a month is going to get you something in that $400,000 price range. If you could, however, put more down, let me grab this slider. Maybe you could put 20% down. That $3,500 is actually going to get you something closer to $460. So how much are you trying to put down? Again, it's all about giving you guys a wide range of different calculators so you look like the rock star in that conversation with that client. And again, I'll take this a step further with that shake feature. The shake feature here on the monthly affordability calculator, it's a really awesome calculation that shows how much buying power you'll lose if you re-sign your lease, and rates climb up on you over the next year. So if you re-sign your lease and those interest rates creep up on you and you get out of your lease and rates are at 7.3 and you have to buy, you're going to have to find something in that 420 price range. That's a different school district or neighborhood. This is such a powerful way to illustrate the role that these rates play in our buying power and really get those buyers thinking about locking in a good rate now. So definitely a cool calculator there. Now, those again are long-standing favorites, but I do want to point out several of these calculators have new badges on them as well. Because one thing that we've done in the last year or so is we've introduced new calculators to really help you in the conversations that you're having today with today's market. And so we've created new calculators that are really topical and designed for the most common questions of today's market and most common conversations. And so again, we won't have time to cover all these, but I'll definitely touch on 3 of them with you so you know, because I think they're the most relevant ones and ones that you guys could get a lot of use out of right now. The first one is our newest one, concession cheat sheet. The concession cheat sheet calculator is such a cool calculator. It's all about you guys as buyer's agents understanding the max amount of seller concessions for your transaction. The idea being, as buyer's agents, we need to, more than ever before, earn that buyer agent commission, especially if that buyer's paying it. If they've got to pay it, I've got to bring them a lot of value. And the best way I can bring my buyer value is by being a good negotiator for them, crafting up a good offer for them. And, concessions play a huge part in the negotiating process. And so if I'm crafting up an offer for my buyer, me knowing the max amount that I can ask for from that seller, that's going to be a real valuable thing for me to know. And so that's what that concession cheat sheet calculator is all about. It's about you guys knowing what that max amount is for your transaction. So I'll open up that concession cheat sheet and I'll show you how to use it. All we have to do, the variables that play part in this, the max invested, interested party contributions, IPCs. The 4 pieces that play a part into that home price. So we're getting a 5.25 home. It's going to be a conventional loan. It's a primary residence. It's not a secondary. It's not an investment property. It's primary residence. And, affordability is a challenge right now. So my buyers are talking about only putting 5% down. With those input fields, I hit compute and I'm going to be able to see, hey, max amount that we can ask for from that seller in seller concessions is $15,750, which is 3%, of course. That's good for me to know. There's a buy down calculator. I might be able to get my buyer a 3-2-1 buy down with this type of concession. Now I'm crafting up this offer for my buyer. I know how much I can ask for from that seller. But let's take it a step further. If you press the share icon in that top right corner, it generates a great looking printout. And with our printout, we actually show the thresholds. So right now we fall in the less than 10% category. So we can only ask for 3%. We can only ask for that 15,000. If we could get our down payment up to 10%, we could ask for more from that seller. Now they're under no obligation to give us the max amount. They don't have to give us 6%. But again, us as our buyer's agent, crafting up offers for our buyer, guiding our buyer, us knowing the max amounts and the thresholds for them, the max amounts, it really helps us be a better guide, be a better negotiator, craft up better offers for our buyer, and really earn that compensation that they may have to come out of pocket to pay us. So this is a really great calculator that I think you could use in those conversations with your buyers. So that's one I had to start with. Again, that's the newest one. The other two are ones that I'll mention. We released on a big webinar with Tom Ferry. He found out about our app about a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that. He's been talking about it all across the nation. We've been pretty excited about that. But it's given us an opportunity to kind of get a peek behind the curtain of what he does there. And we're able to create tools that kind of go hand in hand with the tactics that he's out there teaching. And the equity review calculator is a perfect example of that. The equity review calculator we've created is pretty simple. It's calculate how much equity a homeowner's sitting on. And that's a simple calculation. What do you think the house is worth now? The current value. I've looked at the comps in the area. I think your house is worth this much. And then ask them some purchase details. What'd they buy the house for? How much did they put down? What's their loan balance at now, and when did they start the loan? And what's really cool with this calculator is we've added that home link feature, so we could add the address, and it's going to pull the loan balance and loan start date for us automatically. I already showed you that on the seller calculator. But that's it. We fill this out, we hit compute, we're going to be able to show a homeowner how much equity they're sitting on. So the calculator is simple. The tactic that we built it for is the real value that I want you guys to walk away here with. The tactic is do it on your past buyers. I could have helped a buyer buy in 2019. At some point, they're going to be a seller. It's my job to follow up with them periodically. So when it does come time to sell, I'm the agent that they think of. And so an equity review is a simple follow-up technique. I could call a buyer that I worked with 3 years ago and I could say, hey, I'm working with this seller in your neighborhood. And it got me thinking about you guys because their house has appreciated a lot. This neighborhood's been appreciating a lot. You probably are sitting on more equity than you realize. You mind if I stop by on Thursday and show you how much equity you're sitting on? That's it. That's a simple call that I can make to my past buyer. The benefit is that I show up to that meeting and I show them a report and they think they're sitting on 100,000 in equity. And I show them a report. You're actually sitting on 2.25. How do you think that conversation is going to go now? Now their wheels are turning. They're like, oh man, that's enough for us to sell our house, put 20% down on that house that went on the market down the street that's got a pool. We always wanted a pool. We even could have some left over we could throw in the bank. The cool thing about this technique and this tactic is that a lot of these homeowners, thanks to the appreciation of 2021 and 2022, they're sitting on more equity than they realize. And so this is a tactic that could help you create a listing. So really, really cool one I wanted to impart on you guys. And then the last calculator I'll mention is the buy now or buy later calculator. This is a powerful tool for those conversations with those buyers that are going to wait. I hear the Fed's going to cut the rates again. I'm going to time the market perfectly, and I'm going to get that low rate December, early January. I'm going to get that historically low rate that's on the way. These buyers are talking like that. They're being hesitant. And, you really need a tool to compare to them buying today versus buying later with that hypothetical low rate. Because what they forget is that when those low rates come, so do all the buyers. And then they start fighting over homes because we don't have much inventory. And then home prices shoot up into the sky. And so, yeah, you could wait and you can time the market perfectly and you can get that low rate. But chances are you're going to pay more for the home at that point. Is it worth it? Let's compare buying today at today's rate, even if you got to pay a little bit more for that rate, today's price you're getting versus later where you're going to pay more for the home to get that low rate. Is it worth it? You know, especially if we buy it at today's price and rates do come down, you could refinance, but you got the home for the right price. And so this is a really cool calculator that lets you go into a lot of different, there's like 5 different result screens to help you have that conversation with that buyer who's thinking about waiting, trying to time the market perfectly for that low rate. Now, I won't go into it except for to show you that resource I promised you about learning how to use the calculators that we don't have time to cover. So I'll open up that buy now or buy later, and I'll show you that all of the calculators actually have a play icon in that top left corner that lets you watch a tutorial video about that specific calculator. So all the calculators you guys want to learn how to use, just open them up and press that play icon, and you're going to get a tutorial video about that specific calculator. All right, now I do want to show you guys the premium real quick, and then I'll open it up for questions. But before I do that, I want to reiterate on the value that Denise and her team are providing to you for free. Everything in those first 3 tabs, you know, the buyer, seller, and calculator, everything in those first 3 tabs, aside from adding your photo and logo to your account and those geo reports that we looked at, everything else in the first 3 tabs is being provided to you by Denise and her team for free. So they're giving you a lot of value in the free version. I know I'm going to show you some cool stuff in premium, but definitely show some appreciation to Denise and her team when you get the chance, because it's all about helping you guys with your business. You know, they foot the bill of this so that it's free to you, and it's not a cheap bill, but they do it because they see a lot of value in this tool, and they want to provide that value to you and help you with your business so you can close more deals and make more money. And, you know, hopefully some of those deals make it to her and her team. And so again, when you get the chance, show some appreciation, because it's all about arming you with the tool that they see value in, and then setting up calls like this and meetings so that you can learn how to use this tool and make more money and close more deals. So definitely wanted to mention that. Now let's talk about that premium section. Again, premium costs 99 cents a month or $10 for the year. And it's mainly about social media. And we've got a ton of social media content in there. There's also some printouts. So there's some other stuff that's not just social media, but there's a lot of social media content. And I know you guys are always looking for ways to get more exposure for your brand on social media. So let's take a look at it. We open up that premium tab, and it's going to open up first to a pop-up that shows you what we call the monthly marketing package. So, you know, at the beginning of each month, we do a lot of market research. We get a feel for what's going on in the industry, and we then create pieces of content to help you with the biggest topics in the industry. You know, we'll highlight pieces of content. You'll be able to see those. We were talking about this month for October, the starter home surge, the recent drop in rates, and how much more home you could afford with that same monthly payment. And then, of course, the last time that the Fed cut the rate, how long it's been in between rate cuts. You know, some great pieces that are topical and really relevant to today's market. Now, we'll send you an email about this monthly marketing package. We send you a push notification about it. And we post to our Facebook and Instagram pages this video where I highlight what we're highlighting, what we're spotlighting, and how to use it. And so I urge you to follow us on Palm Agent Facebook and Instagram pages. But that's essentially the monthly marketing package. And we'll give you content all month long, but we at the beginning of the month, we want to say, hey, here's the hot button topics. Here's some content to help you look like a rock star in those conversations. And so that's the first thing you'll see when you open up premium, but I'll exit out of that. Up here at the top, you can see past monthly marketing packages and tutorial videos and all that. That's a featured section, but I'll scroll down below where it says, what do you want to post? That's where you'll find the categories of content. And the first 2 categories are called infographics. You know, you've got standard infographics, which are single versions, and then you've got swipeable infographics, which are going to be multi-piece image sets. Otherwise, the 2 categories are the same. The coolest aspect about them is that they are dynamic. If they show example scenarios, they're tied to our calculators. So you don't have to post a piece with a $200,000 example scenario when you're working with clients in that $600,000 price range. You can tailor the examples that you're showing to really resonate with your audience. The other cool aspect about them, if you press the see all on either of these categories, you're going to be taken to a library view where you'll see a tab bar at the top with different sized versions optimized for the various platforms. We even have arrows pointing to the buttons on that platform to get you more likes, shares, saves, comments on that specific platform. So make sure you're using the correct version of the content for where you're posting it. So those are the first two categories. Infographics, definitely some really cool pieces in there for you to talk about, important things in the industry and really show your followers that you're an expert in all things real estate. We touch on so many different topics, a lot of valuable content in there. The next category is what we call filters. And this is a way for you to dress up those photos and videos that you're taking with a fun real estate themed frame. Maybe you're trying to take a picture of that listing, or you're recording a quick open house invite. Being able to press this, again, see all, get different size versions for different platforms, but scroll through and say, hey, I want some seasonal filters. I want to market Halloween and put some fun Halloween filters on. Those will be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. Hashtag realtor life, open house. If I want to take a picture of my listing and market that, maybe I want to take a picture of those buyers sitting at the LandQuest closing table, signing their paperwork for getting a new home, or have them stand out in front of their home, holding up those keys with a congratulations on becoming a homeowner filter, and take a picture of those buyers. Those are really cool already, but the dynamic category takes it a step further. If I open up these, you'll find that these dynamic ones, the difference with them is they'll have a customize button in the top right corner. And so this customize button, it lets me plug in an address and it'll add an address down here, but some of them are next level, you guys. For example, this one here, these 4 here, in fact. If I go in and I add an address, watch what it does. I'm going to plug in an address. It is going to pull me listing information, bedroom, bathroom count, square footage, lot size, all that type of information is going to automatically be populated. Let me plug in a list price of 5.25. Let me change it to a coming soon flyer, press save in the top right corner and take a picture of that listing. Something that takes you 20 minutes on Canva, you're able to make in a matter of 5 seconds with your app. So definitely some cool stuff here for you guys in the filters category. And there's a ton in there. Some of those dynamic filters even use the geo report data. All right, the next category is called personalized videos. Similar to the infographics, we're going to touch on hot topics, create some video content you'll be proud of posting, put your profile information on there to brand it for you. Again, you can press see all and get a variety of different sizes for the different placements. And then the last category is the most underrated category, in my opinion, most valuable for you guys. It's called shareable calculators. And they're watered down consumer grade calculators that you can post online and collect leads from consumers interacting with those calculators. So for example, that equity review tactic that I talked about earlier in the calculators tab. Maybe I want to run that play on social media. I want to get my my followers thinking about how much equity they're sitting on and possibly spark the conversation of me helping them tap into that equity. And so I go to this equity review calculator, I choose what thumbnail I want, and then I share it to Facebook. And I say, hey, homeowners, you probably have more equity than you realize thanks to the appreciation from 2021, 2022. Run the numbers on your house with my free calculator below. And then I post that to Facebook, and I even boost that post. Now it's circulating Facebook. Any of those curious homeowners who click on that and try to run the numbers, I'm going to be emailed their contact information and the scenario and probably their address that they filled out in that consumer calculator as well. And so really cool way for you guys to generate new leads and start these conversations about, hey, let's tap into that equity. You're probably sitting on more equity than you realize. So definitely some cool stuff there. All right, so that's premium, gist of it, ton of content in there. We just scraped the surface. Again, 99 cents a month, $10 for the year. We do give you a 30-day trial, so if you subscribe, you're not going to be charged until that 31st day. So you can try all this out, use it to your heart's desire. If you don't think you're getting enough value for your 4 quarters, you can always cancel before that 31st day and never be charged a dime. However, I don't even know if that unsubscribe button even works because nobody ever uses it. It's the best value in real estate by far. Can't even get a burger for that much anymore. So last few things for you to know about your app. The bottom right corner is going to show your title reps information. It'll probably show their photo there as well, depending on who you're associated with. And then the last thing, if I go back to the buyer, seller, or calculators tab, there is a menu icon in the top left corner. When I press that menu icon, that is where I'll be able to go in there and adjust my profile or account settings, watch all those tutorial videos, call, text, or email our support staff. Estimates, you can load up estimates that you save on a different device. So maybe I'm working up a net sheet and on my phone while I'm driving. I don't recommend you do it when you're driving, but you could. I'm working up that net sheet on my phone, but I want to continue working on it when I get back to the office. I can save it within the app and then load it back up on a different device. So we give you guys free cloud storage, and this is how you would load up any estimates that you've saved. All right. So that's your LandQuest agent app. What are you guys' thoughts? I know that a lot of you are still picking your jaw up because you're amazed at how much was here, and you probably already were using it and didn't know that you had this much in here. But please let us know what you think. Give some thumbs up, say something in the chat section. Definitely let us know if you're going to get some use out of this and if you learned some good stuff today.
Michael, this was great. Thank you for the presentation. You did an amazing job.
Not a problem. Thank
this
you.
blew my mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael, if the agents with all the resources that you gave them need some additional help, they can come to myself or they can go to their individual assigned office title rep. Is there also an 800 number? I mean, I realize all the tech for support is at their fingertips, but everybody's technology skills are, at different levels. Is there an 800 support number they can ever reach out to?
Yeah, so first, support@palmagent.com is the email. For the phone number, it is 757-271-1287. Also, if you go to landquestagent.com on your computer, we also have a live chat. We've got our support team on chat. So down here in the bottom right corner, you can start a chat. So yes, all of the above. But, again, the best way right there from your menu icon, when you go to support, it'll give you call, text, or email right there from your app. Mark asked if this is going to be recorded. Yes, we've recorded this. You guys are going to have a copy of this so that you can refer back to all of it for sure.
You did a fantastic job, Michael. I cannot thank you enough for taking time away from your very busy schedule and also giving us an extended training time. Does anyone else, before we let Michael go, have any other questions? I see something in the chat. Nope. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It's truly been a pleasure meeting with you guys. We really hope you get a lot of value out of using it. And again, like us on Facebook and Instagram. Always feel free to let us know what you're dealing with and out there with your buyers and sellers. We're always looking for new ways to evolve the app and keep this as something that's relevant for you and your business. So it's truly been a pleasure, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week.
Fantastic. Thank
Same
you
to
again.
you.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for attending. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Anything else before we go? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? We're all good? Fantastic. Thank you.